Okay, when you use your email, down here in the bottom left-hand corner, there's an option where you can click on your calendar. And when you click on your calendar, you can see a monthly view. You can go ahead and check, different dates and so forth. There's a drop-down list you can choose and look at the school week. Okay, you can go through month. So, which is really nice that there's different views here to work with this. Now, what I like to do when it comes to manage my time, before the next week starts, and usually I do it like on a Friday, I look ahead and I say, okay, what do I need to work on? What do I need to, what type of assignments do I need to complete? And so you want to take a look at the assignments because after you start looking at them, you can say, well, I only need 20 minutes to do this, or I might need an hour to do this. And sometimes you might need a little longer time because it could be a little more of a difficult project. In a situation like this, there's times where you know you've done the project or similar project before and how long it takes. So it's easy to go in and assign an area in your schedule to work on it. So what I like to do is, if you're working, so if you have a full-time job and you know your schedule, or a part-time job, doesn't matter. If you know your schedule, put it in the calendar so you know where you cannot, maybe, you can't do your reading during that time. And so what I've done is I put in what we call, I put in some recurring areas where I know that I'm teaching a class, I have office hours. So to go in and let's say once you put in your schedule for the week or for maybe you got it for 2 weeks, then you can look around and say, okay, I want to set up my reading, I want to set up time for my activities to work on. And for some people it's going to be at night, some people are going to do it in the morning, sometimes they're just going to fill it in where you need to. And one of the things is, if you always have to read, if you always have to do some type of reading before you do your activity, I like to do that in the beginning. And really, reading, for most people, the research has said that typically reading is good toward the mid-morning area. If you get toward the late afternoon, people kind of doze off and so forth. Now, evening wise, it just depends on how you work and so forth. But they do find that mid morning is the best time for reading. So, what you like to do is, if you have even if you have a job that starts at 9 o'clock, you might get up an extra half an hour early to do some reading half an hour beforehand, and you set up that time. And a lot of times you'll set up what we call a reoccurring event. So if I click on the 16th, one of the things I want to do here is I want to click on the new event up here, and I'll put in reading. And if you want to be specific for that class, you can do so. A lot of times I like to be generic so that way I can do any reading for any of the classes. And so here I'm going to set just a half an hour time just to work with, and then I'm going to repeat it. And I'm going to repeat it. You could do it every day if you want. You can do it every week. And a lot of times we like to do it every week and at the same time if your schedule fits. And so I click on save. Now you can see here it occurs Monday until September 7th, 2020. So a lot of times what I'll do is I'll remove the end date so that, or change the end date so it's like the end of the semester. But that again depends on how you want to work with that. And I click on save. And here's a nice little thing about this. It's going to send you a reminder. You can put a little description if you want to. Um, you know, you're not going to put a room in unless you're going to say I'm going to go to the library or something like that if you wanted to. And when you click on save, it's going to appear every Monday at 8 a.m. So our recurring appointment is a nice little feature that you can go in and you can set up. And what's nice again, all you have to do is select the day that you want to work with. And if you're setting up your schedule for your work schedule and things like that, then you just come up and click on new event on the day you're working with. And then, you can go in and set up the times and so forth. Another aspect I like to do too, if you're working and you're going to put that in your schedule, you are busy. And so there's an option up here where it's busy, you're working elsewhere, away, and so forth. Away means you're away from the computer, you won't have access to it. Typically, what I like to do is, if I cannot get to my reading or I can't get out, do anything else, I'll mark it as busy. If it's something that I'm putting in a schedule, like reading wise, I will say that, I might be tentative or working elsewhere, so I know that it's flexible for that purpose. So, again, something to take a look at. And if you have any questions on this, I have more tips to provide.